Q&A session. Oh, got it. We're recording. I will open it up for a 15-minute Q&A session. And then hopefully by the end of this webinar, you'll either decide, wow, this is a really great viable option for me to add some extra moolah in my pocket. Or you might be like, yeah, you know what? This is like a little bit too complicated, a little bit too much for me. I'm just going to refer all of my leads over to Jalen, which I will be totally cool with that, by the way. Cool? Cool. All right. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. Okay. Again, welcome everyone. I am Jalen Mansur-Shaw. We are sitting in the webinar this morning called Level Up with Lease Options, where you will learn how to 10x your real estate business this 2023 using the Lease Option Program. Hey, Chris, how do I go to the next slide?
There should be an arrow there at the right portion of your screen. Can
There
you
it
see it?
is.
Okay.
Yes, all of the pictures of the people were covering it. Got it.
All right.
Okay, what are you going to learn today? So this webinar aims to help you scale your real estate business 10 times by understanding how to utilize the lease option program and how you can hopefully add 2 to 4 deals in sales commissions to your bottom line, to your pocket every month. You're like, this guy down at the bottom, he's like, how do I do that? That's a good graphic, Chris. I love it. So course overview real quick, and we're not going to go into too much detail, obviously, because we only have 30 minutes. I know it's early for you guys. You have a lot of stuff to do today. So I'm all about keeping it short and sweet. We're going to cover how do lease options work? Does a portion of the rent go into the purchase? Who exactly is a lease option good for? Basic qualifications. How can working a lease option benefit me as the realtor? What's the catch? How to find good lease option leads. What is the script like? We're actually not going to go over that today. We're going to talk about that in the next thing. As a realtor, how do I get paid? And what companies can I work with? All right, get to know me, Jalen Mansur-Shaw. This picture, by the way, is about 7 years old. I'm thinking about changing it up. What do you guys think? Drop in the chat, yes or no. So anyway, my story is not too long ago in 2015, I had become a single mom. I was literally broke. I had $400 in my bank account. I had just become a single mom with 3 young daughters to take care of. I was working as a barista at Starbucks with literally no skills because I had been a stay-at-home mom for like 14 years. So I had an opportunity from a customer in Starbucks, and that's when I decided to get into real estate. And quickly thereafter, I discovered working with one of our lease option companies, which is called HPA. We're going to go over them later today. And just basically hit the ground running. I'm currently a 3-time icon. Need to update this slide. I'm an eXp Realty mentor. I live in downtown Phoenix with my beloved husband, Kelly, and I have an international team consisting of virtual assistants, admin, agents, and boots on the ground showing agents. We specialize in lease options in Phoenix, Southern California, and the Las Vegas, Nevada market areas. Although we are going to talk about how you can work lease options in your market area as well. Okay. So basics, how do lease options work? So basically the premise is you are looking for a renter, somebody who wants to rent a home for a period of time. And then that renter has the opportunity to buy the home anytime after they move in at a preset price. And there's usually a deadline set. They might have a year to purchase the home. They might have up to 5 years to purchase the home. So those are the basics, but typically you're getting somebody pre-qualified to just rent the home, and then they can buy it at some point. One of the questions I get a lot from leads that are calling in, does a portion of the rent go into the purchase? I can't talk this morning, y'all. I need more coffee, apparently. So it depends. There are companies that you can work with where a portion of their monthly overall payment does go into a savings account where they can use as a down payment to actually purchase the home. There's another company that we work with called Trio, and your overall monthly payment, there's a percentage of your monthly payment that goes kind of towards the down payment per se. And we're going to cover all of that a little bit later. But basically, a true lease option, really a portion of the rent does not really go into the purchase. What I specialize in is more of a lease with the right to purchase. There's no obligation and there's no penalty to do so. So that's a question you're going to get a lot. So yes and no, it really kind of depends. That's my answer for you. What are the basic qualifications for a lease option? Now, this is going to be the really cool part for you guys because you are going to be working with renters and it's a little bit easier to get them qualified to get into a home. So you're looking for anywhere from a 550 credit score on Experian all the way up to a 620 credit score on TransUnion. The combined gross monthly income needs to be at least 3 times the rent, and their overall debt to income ratio needs to be no more than 50%. That's factoring in their monthly rent payment, their car payments, any minimum credit card payments. So those are the basics. Okay, how can working with a lease option benefit me? So as a realtor, you are going to sign up with one of these respective companies. I'm going to show you a slide here showing what companies you can work with. You're going to go in, register, go through all of the training, become a certified agent, and you are representing the company as their buyer's agent. So once you get that resident into a home, once you close escrow, then you get paid on the close of the sale. Whatever sales commission is listed in your respective MLS, whether it's 2%, 3%, doesn't matter. That's what you get paid at the close of escrow, minus any broker fees, transaction fees, things like that. So that's really cool. So versus getting maybe a $100 or $200 rental commission, you're making probably in reality closer to 9 to 15, depending on the house you're putting them into. So that's really exciting. Okay, what's the catch? There's really no catch. When you're talking to these people, they might say to you, well, this sounds too good to be true. Well, trust me, it is actually legit. We work with only legitimate lease option companies. We do actually have a lot of social proof and a lot of recorded testimonial videos from people that we've actually put into homes. People might ask you, well, what happens if the market crashes? Do I still have to buy the home at that price? Will they lower the price? So the answer is no. Let me give you a real life example. So my husband, Kelly, and I, we used HPA, one of the companies we work with, to purchase a home for us a couple of years ago up in Anthem, Arizona. They paid $350,000 for it. Our option price at that point in time was $367,400. So we rented the home for about a year and then we pulled the trigger and bought it. The appraisal came in at $538,000. Guess what? We didn't have to buy it at that $538,000 price. We bought it for the $367,400. So we had $170,000 in equity that we had gained just by renting. Conversely, if we decided, when it was time to buy the home was only worth $300,000, we could have been like, sayonara, guys, we're going to move out at the end of our lease, get our security deposit back, go buy a house down the street that's $50,000 cheaper. So regardless if the market goes up or down, you can get out of your lease, you get your deposit back. There's really no harm, no foul, no penalty, no obligation. So that's how I would answer that question. Okay. Oh, this one's really, really important. How to find good lease option leads. But because without leads, how are you going to make money? So one good way of finding good lease option leads, believe it or not, is on Craigslist. And Craigslist is really cool because it's free. Free 99. I don't know if it gets any better than that. So basically, what you're going to do is advertise a home that's available for rent. And you're going to get these people calling you, texting you, saying, hey, is this home available? Craigslist. The thing about Craigslist is you do have to post frequently and you have to refresh your ads. And also very important to get the listing agent's permission to use their photos. You can also post other agents listings on Facebook Marketplace. You can post on your Instagram, your other socials. You can put together a YouTube channel. You could talk about how you're the local expert in downtown Phoenix and you're here to help renters relocate to the area. There are so many different ways that you can find leads. Another great way that I love is reaching out to your lender partners, asking them, hey, do you have any buyers you're working with right now that you're having a hard time getting pre-qualified? But they don't have the down payment yet. They don't have their credit score where it needs to be. You can tell them, guess what? I can get them into a home now. We're going to pay cash for the home. We, meaning one of the companies you're going to represent, they're going to rent the home for a period of time until they can get themselves mortgage ready. And guess what? When they're ready to get that loan, we're going to turn them back over to you as the lead source, and you get to get them financed and get paid. Those lenders will turn those leads over to you all day long. So really cool. So those are just some quick ways. We're not going to go over the scripting. I already covered that as a realtor. How do I get paid? Okay, here comes the fun stuff. What companies can I work with? Okay, I'm going to talk about these companies in order of preference. The first one being HPA, which is Home Partners of America. You can find them by going to homepartners.com. Highly recommend going and signing up as an agent, go through their certification course, go through all of their marketing materials. There is a plethora of information on there, and you'll actually find quite a few resident videos, testimonials in there that were my residents. And then there's a couple of testimonial videos in there from yours truly, along with my husband, Kelly Shaw. So a really great company. HPA is a cash buyer. They are going to pay cash for the home. They do have preset neighborhoods where they are going to buy homes. They basically buy homes in major metro cities. They operate in over 80 markets across the United States right now. The cool thing I love about Home Partners is their rent is pretty much close to market rate rent. None of the rent goes towards the purchase. It's just a straight lease with the right to purchase. The tenant can exercise their option anytime after they move in, up until the end of year 5, or they can walk away at the end of their lease, get their security deposit back. So really, really flexible, great company to work with. I am actually right now, got to brag on myself a little bit. I am the #2 agent in the entire nation for Home Partners of America. They've got like thousands of agents working with them. The #1 agent is in New Mexico. He beat me last year by like 20 transactions. So I'm going to beat him this year. Okay. So second favorite company I love to work with is Divvy Homes. You can find them by going to divvyhomes.com. You can also sign up as an agent. Divvy is a little bit more difficult to work with as far as the user interface on their website. It's hard to like do home calculations, things like that. But the cool thing I love about Divvy is they are also a cash buyer. They close in only 2 weeks. So if you are working with a renter that is truly in a hurry to move, Divvy might be a great option for them because that resident, once you close escrow, they can literally move in same day. There's no waiting period like there is with Home Partners. Home Partners, after they close escrow, there's a waiting period of anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks before the resident can move in because they're going to go in and do a bunch of make ready stuff. So anyway, Divvy Homes, they are a cash buyer. Depending on the credit score, they do go down to 550 on Experian. And if you are lower on the credit score side, they do require you to put down a 2% deposit of the purchase price. By the way, that deposit you do not get back in the event the resident decides not to buy the home. So look at Divvy as truly more working with somebody who really does want to buy the home at some point. They do have until the end of, actually, they just changed it. I take that back. The resident has the opportunity to exercise their option anytime that they're in the program. So they did change that. It used to be 3 years. Now, if you're working with somebody that does have a really good credit score, if they're above 650, they are not going to be required to put that 2% deposit down. So just keep that in mind. If you are working with somebody that's a lot better on the credit side, they don't have to worry about losing that 2% deposit. With Divvy, there is a monthly rent payment that they're going to have to pay, which is considerably higher than HPA. And then they have, depending on the credit score of your resident, there's a sliding scale where they're going to have a forced savings that they're going to have to put that money away depending on how much they want to save up for that down payment. So let me give you an example. Let's say that that resident wants to go 3.5% FHA. So what Divvy is going to do, they're going to take that 3.5% needed. Let's say it's $10,000. They're going to divide that by 36 months, and that is the amount of money that they're going to be forced to save in addition to their monthly rent. So if you're working with somebody that's a little bit more payment sensitive, Divvy might not be a good option for them. But if you're working with somebody who makes tons and tons of money and they don't really care and they want to move fast, Divvy might be perfect for them. My third favorite company I like to work with is Pathway. You can go to the consumer-facing site is yourpathway.com. The agent-facing site is agents.pathway.com, I believe, but you can go in there and browse around. Pathway is very similar to HPA. Not really going to talk about them too much, but definitely go in there, search around. Credit score requirement is very similar to HPA. It's 600 on TransUnion, same income requirements, things like that. Trio is my least favorite, but they're pretty cool because they have their own in-house FHA loan, which is assumable. So that resident, they can lease the home for a period of time, and then when they're ready, they can assume that loan. So essentially, as they're paying rent each month, they're paying down a portion, a very, very small portion of that FHA mortgage every month. Okay, thank you for your attention. I'm going to go back and just touch on something real quick. Back to qualifications and working with these companies, and also talking to lenders when you're like getting leads. Another thing you're going to run into a lot is you're talking to a lead and they just had a recent bankruptcy event. This is really cool how you're able to get them into a home utilizing one of these companies, because most lenders, they're going to require at least 2 to 4 years seasoning if your resident, if your client has had some sort of bankruptcy event. So whether it's Chapter 7 or Chapter 13, with Home Partners in particular, even if their bankruptcy was discharged literally yesterday, there's like no seasoning requirement. You can get that person into a home via Home Partners when they have a bankruptcy, if it's discharged literally just 24 hours ago. So that's really, really cool. The other cool thing about putting somebody into a lease option home right now versus having them try to buy, a lot of people have really, really creative income. They're getting paid maybe cash, they're working for Uber Eats, DoorDash, they're working on the side doing crafts on Etsy, and they're getting paid via multiple streams. So most lenders are not going to be able to include that income for qualifying because it's not consistent. Lenders want to see at least 2 years of solid income history. So with Home Partners and these other companies, they will consider any types of income. And if you're working with somebody who doesn't have a social security number, if they just have an I-10, you can work with that client as well to get them into a rental home. All right. Well, I cut this a little bit short on the presentation side this morning, you guys, because I did want to open it up for a Q&A and have you guys, ask away all the questions that you want. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. But before I do that, I wanted you all to take note of my socials, how you can reach out to me. Please go to my YouTube, follow me, subscribe, like and subscribe. There's tons and tons of videos on there of me talking about lease options, as well as mini testimonial videos from clients that we've actually put into homes. You can reach out to me via any of these methods. My preferred method is probably on Instagram, or follow me go to my Facebook group, the J Group RE. Real quick before I stop sharing. Oh, we took that slide out. Okay, stop sharing. All right. So anyway, before we go into the Q&A session, I did want to mention real quick, if you all are interested in learning more about how you can work lease options and become a lease option expert in your market, I am going to be putting on a 3-hour masterclass. Not sure when I'm going to do the next one, but if you guys are interested in that, let me know. I can send out the link to you. But as it stands right now, I'm going to open the floor up for Q&A. Go ahead and raise your digital hand and I will call on you. You can ask your question. No questions? Does anybody want to just say hey? Anything in there where you're all like, this sounds pretty cool. Oh, Chris has a question. Go for it,
Um,
Chris.
Hi, Jaylene. I don't have a question actually, but I just want to quickly mention that the cheat sheet for lease with the right to purchase is uploaded in your Facebook group. So if they want to have a copy, it's downloadable, it's printable.
Oh, awesome. How do people find my Facebook group?
I will drop the link in the chat.
Awesome. How many of y'all are interested in learning more about how you can work this into your real estate business? Raise your digital hand or speak up. How many of y'all are like, you know what? I'm just going to hand all of my rental leads over to you and get a referral fee. How many of y'all are still sleeping? All right. I guess you guys know everything that you want to know for now. So if there aren't any questions, if nobody has anything they want to throw out there, I'm going to say thank you very much for attending. Happy Friday, everyone. Please reach out to me on any of my socials that I mentioned earlier if you have any additional questions. And oh, Chris just shared the file in the chat window. Feel free to click on that, the lease option cheat sheet. Thanks for that, Chris. That's awesome. I'm going to click on this and see what it looks like. Oh, it's saving to my desktop. Okay, I really just want to open this right now. I'll look at it later. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to sign off. Have a wonderful weekend. Okay, Ryan says, thank you. No questions for now. I may email you for the masterclass. Awesome sauce. Sounds good. Thanks, Ryan. Take care, everyone.
Bye.